Hi, my name is Brendon. I am the CEO of Syncopy Business Solutions. Syncopy Business Solutions is an HR consulting firm which I had floated back in the year 2013. It's been 7 years that I have been in the business of placements. So this video that I'm making today is not just for my convenience, but it will help anyone out there who is in the process of applying for a job or who in future is going to be applying for any kind of a job. So it's been 7 years that we have successfully placed over 10,000 candidates with very reputed organizations that I will not be able to name on this video, of course, but these are all Fortune 500 MNCs. So over the next 3 or 4 minutes in this video, I will help you with certain inputs that will help you clear or crack any interview that you ever sit for. So you have I have posted a sample resume here on the screen that you guys can see. I have made sure that I have taken off the candidate's name from the resume. So let's take this as our sample CV. Consider that this is your own CV, all the experiences that are mentioned over there. Now imagine that you're sitting for an interview and this CV belongs to you. So how you're gonna go ahead and clear or crack that particular interview round? So say for example, you're giving an interview with a company like a Honeywell and you're applying for an analyst or a voice role or any kind of an associate level position. So now when you actually sit for your interview, it isn't just you who is being interviewed, but at the same time, as an individual, you have to also assess what exactly is the interviewer looking out for. So when the interviewer number one asks you a question, don't just go ahead and give any answer randomly. Think what answer he or she is expecting to hear from you, and that is exactly how you will frame your answer and make that interviewer listen to what he or she is actually intending to hear from you. Even if you have to say something which is not really true or something which you do not agree with, you must say it if you are really looking forward to clear the interview. Honesty at times really does not help your cause when you are setting for an interview. Now this sample CV in front of you, the date of birth here that you see is 1992. So the first thing that an interviewer will look at is when you have completed your graduation. So ideally a person completes graduation when he or she is 21. So in this CV, the individual has cleared the graduation in the year 2013. So that that is the first thing that the interviewer notices, the gaps. Now had it not been 2013, had it been a 2014 or a 2015, instead of 2013, then the first thing as an individual that you have to do, even without the interviewer asking you, is to justify the gap in education. And when I say you have to justify the gap, you cannot just be honest and say that I failed a year. You have to justify it with reasons that the interviewer can buy. Things like some unfortunate reasons. You have to give some unfortunate reasons, like I was preparing for my final year, but due to health reasons I unfortunately wasn't able to really appear for my final term exams, and that resulted in the gap that you see over there. So hence, instead of 2013, unfortunately I managed to clear my graduation in the year 2014. So you have to feel also sorry about the fact that you have a gap over here. Not just justify, but feel sorry about it. That's a golden rule. Justify your gaps and feel sorry about it. Secondly, try to read the interviewer's mind. Try to understand what question he or she is next going to throw at you. So when the interview starts, my suggestion is that you walk that person through your CV. For whatever that you have written over there, it really doesn't matter as much as what you're going to speak. So if I were in this person's shoes, the one CV that we have on the screen right now, so how I'm gonna take the interviewer through my CV is something like this. So for the interviewer, I am an unknown person, and he or she is gonna decide whether or not to offer me the job that I'm applying for. So this is how I take that person through my resume. So I start off with introducing myself, but not just stop over there. So I take him like that. Hi, this is Brendon. My name is Brendon Rodrigues, and date of birth is 9th Feb 1992, as you can very well see on my resume. Speaking of my education, I completed my bachelor's degree in the year 2013, and that was from RTMNU University in Nagpur. Thereafter, it took me a while finding my first job. That is the reason why you see the gap after my resume and my first employment. So though I finished my graduation in June 2013, I took up my first job with Wipro in Delhi in the year 2014, the month being September. And the reason why you see this gap is because one, I was contemplating completing my post graduation, and moreover, Nagpur is a small town, and job opportunities over there are very limited. So it took me a while being able to find my first job. And when I did, it was with Wipro, and Wipro being the great organization that it is, I did not think twice before moving from Nagpur to Delhi, because it was a question of my career. So I really did not wish at that point of time to restrict myself only to Nagpur when it came to employment opportunities. Make note, guys, over here, I will not speak anything negative about any of my previous or my current organization. I will never speak anything negative about the workload, about the work culture, about the people that I worked with, about my managers, my colleagues, or my stakeholders. That is a strict no when you are sitting for any interview, especially for an interview with the likes of a TCS or big names like that. Moving on. So Wipro being the great organization that it was a very good experience working over there. Initially I was a little skeptical, coming from a small town, whether or not I will or will not be able to manage the responsibilities, and how will I cope with the job that I had been hired for. But then Wipro made me very comfortable. The training which was given was really amazing, and being the first job that it was, I will always hold Wipro very close to my heart. And the things that I learned over there, they really helped me working with my next organizations. So though I moved on from Wipro to Tech Mahindra for better opportunities, the experience that I gained in Wipro was really priceless. So guys, I'll take a break here. What I'd like to point out is that from Wipro to Tech Mahindra, I have transitioned already without the interviewer having asked the question, why did you leave Wipro? So let's not wait for the interviewer to ask you why you left one particular organization. Even before the interviewer thinks of doing that, you have to justify it yourself and move on to your next company, like we have just done over here. So what we've done is we've just smoothly transitioned from Wipro to Tech Mahindra, having spoken really good things about Wipro. So that this puts you, or presents you as a very good individual, a very good professional. So always speak good things about your companies, more so about the first company that you ever worked for. The moment you speak anything negative, you are done. The interviewer forms a perception about you which is not going to help you further, clearing the rounds. So now, moving on from Wipro to Tech Mahindra, we have to speak about a second organization. So sir, I joined Tech Mahindra soon after I left Wipro. And the reason why I switched from Wipro to Tech Mahindra was primarily because working with Wipro, I had learned pretty much whatever I could have learned over there. And being the fresher that I was working on a very humble package. So though it was with a very heavy heart that I left Wipro, but I did. Of course, everyone has to move on for better opportunities, and that's how Tech Mahindra happened to me. I had given an interview from Delhi, and the placement happened in Pune. So the 4 months gap, sir, that you see over there, that was the transition phase from Delhi to Pune. Tech Mahindra gave me that leeway to transition smoothly, serve my notice period, hence the gap. And having worked away from my family for a period of close to 2 years in Delhi, I actually requested Tech Mahindra to give me a little later joining date, so that that allowed me an opportunity to visit my hometown back again, which I did after a period of 2 years. Took a necessary break, and then it was all about my next company. I joined them on a very fresh note, having taken a break. And Tech Mahindra, again, sir, one of the best organizations to work for. The process that I worked for was quite a difficult one. I was working as a customer financial advisor, as you can see in my resume. Now, this was a job which entailed me speaking to close to 60 to 70 odd people on a daily basis from UK region, and Of course, the job was a little more challenging as compared to my first job with Wipro. But again, Wipro had trained me and groomed me in such a way that I was able to cope up with it quite well. I was always a great performer with Tech Mahindra. I won a lot of, rewards and recognitions, and there were a lot of campaigns. So just between you and me, I was also, I had also won Performer of the Quarter twice in a row during my tenure with Tech Mahindra. So all in all, it was a great experience. And only thing was that they had me on a contractual basis. So that is the reason why I had to look for a change soon after joining Tech Mahindra. They had hired me on a 6 months contract, as you can see on my resume. So once the 6 months were up, the company was unable to hire me on full-time payrolls. They told me that in 2 months of time they would be able to rope me back in again, and I was really keen to do so. I was really keen to have joined the company, but 2 months for a person like me, who has a lot of responsibilities to do without a job, was a little difficult. So I simultaneously appeared for an interview with Tata Consultancy Services, and luckily for me, I cracked it. Until date, I am working with TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. The reason why I think I managed to really clear my interview with TCS was because Tech Mahindra operates in telecom domain, and with TCS as well, I was hired for a process, which operates in telecom domain. So telecom to telecom was a smooth transition, and I'm really loving it over here with TCS. And who wouldn't want to work with a brand like Tata Consultancy Services? They're just simply one of the best in the country, and one of the best employers that one can ever have an opportunity to work with. So in my career, I have been lucky to work with really 3 good reputed brands: Wipro, Tech Mahindra, TCS. Wipro, like I said, sir, I left because I was looking for better opportunities. I was working on a humble package. So compensation, I'll be very honest, was the reason why I switched. Tech Mahindra, there was no reason for me to switch. It's just that the contract came to an end. And that's how TCS happened to me. So guys, what we are doing here is we are not taking ownership for having left any of the companies on our own accord. Contract over, changed. Wipro, that is the first company. Only with the first company we can really justify the jump, stating that I was looking for better opportunities. I was a fresher when I joined them, and my package was very humble. But thereafter, any job change that you have, justify it. And condemn it to reasons which are not yours. So do not speak about shifts being an issue, or your colleagues being an issue, or your manager giving you a tough time. We're not gonna do any of that. We're not gonna take the blame or the ownership of switching any job on our own accord or by our own free will. We will condemn it to other reasons, like we just did in this particular resume. Now the other thing, if you look closely at this resume, the person whosoever made it, and I've taken just a screenshot and posted it over here, has mentioned 3 companies here: Wipro, Tech Mahindra, TCS, and has mentioned the tenure but not the roles and responsibilities, which I see as being a very good thing. One of the common mistakes that a person performs or commits at the time of preparing a resume is that they go really detailed. They end up preparing 4 to 5 pages of detailed resumes or CVs. Who's gonna look at it? No one. So the content that you're mentioning over there in terms of your roles and responsibilities, do away with it. Keep it very concise, keep it very brief, keep it short and crisp, because no one's gonna read, no one's gonna have the time to read what you've written over there. It's what you speak that people are going to listen to, and how you speak and how you justify your reasons for having left the companies that you have left. Also, one of the mistakes that a person commits going into an interview is not doing the research about the company that they're appearing for an interview for. Know about the company, Google them, look them up, understand what is their line of business, understand where they are headquartered, at least look up who the current CEO is, because in case if they happen to ask you in the interview, you'd have a little bit of answers about what the company does, what is their line of business, and what is their employee strength, where are they headquartered, where are their sites located. Only this kind of basic information. Rest, if the person goes really detailed in terms of expecting from you an answer in terms of what the company does, you can always say that, sir, that even when I joined TCS, I knew about the company maybe to a certain extent, but not entirely. It is only when you join an organization that you get to know and get to learn more about it. So as far as Honeywell is concerned, so this was the knowledge that I had about the company. And if I do get through, if I have the chance of working with your organization, I'm sure I'd be able to learn about the company just like I learned about TCS during the course of my employment with the organization. Now, the other thing that we have to bear in mind is the fact that the salary during the course of an interview, understand you're still being interviewed. You haven't been hired yet. So salary negotiation during the course of an interview is a strict no. Refrain from doing it. You're still being interviewed. You're being considered for the job. The person on the other side of the table hasn't yet made up his or her mind of hiring you still. The process is still underway. So hold on, wait for an official confirmation. It is once you have the confirmation in your hands is when the salary negotiation can be considered or done, but not otherwise. Alright, so refrain from salary negotiation. Refrain from saying no to anything in an interview. If the interviewer is asking you if you're comfortable working in rotational shifts, be it as it may, be it XYZ shifts, be it shifts that you are not comfortable with, do not utter a word. It's for you later to make up your mind whether or not to take up a job. However, during the course of an interview, should you happen to say no to anything, things are not going to fall into your favor. Eventually, you're going to get rejected, and that is not what we are looking at. The reason why we are making this video is to help you clear the interview. If you still want to go ahead and do salary negotiations and, enter into discussions, and say no to things that the interviewer is expecting from you, then no point listening to this audio, because it's not gonna help your cause. Trust me, when I speak to you with 7 years of experience in placements. So now at the same time, you aren't the only one who is being interviewed over here. Your job is also to read the interviewer's mind, which is very essential. When I say read the interviewer's mind, it is as simple as trying to comprehend what he or she is expecting to hear from you. I know I am repeating this point, but this is a process that will last as long as your interview lasts. So if your interview ends up lasting for around 20 to 25 minutes, those entire 20 to 25 odd minutes, try to predict what he or she is trying to hear from you. And very importantly, throughout the course of your interview, howsoever long may it last, do not drop your guard. There are very, smart interviewers who will, initially be very firm and, they won't be forthcoming during the initial 20-25 minutes of your interview, wherein, you have performed exceptionally well and you have ticked all the boxes. But during those last 5 minutes, now this interviewer will, drop his pen on the table and, lean back on his chair and, try to show that he is done from his side and try to make you go casual. And this is where you drop your guard. If you do so, there are a lot of people who during these last 5 minutes they drop their guard, and they whatever good they have done over the last 20 minutes, they'll end up speaking a sentence or some point in a very flippant manner, or they'll end to go casual. This is what one must refrain from. Even if the interviewer is going casual with you, you must refrain from doing so, because I reiterate, this is an interview and there is no room for any kind of casual approach. So if you remember these pointers, guys, I really doubt if you wouldn't really crack any voice associate level, analyst level, entry level, senior associate level interview that you ever gonna sit for. So with this, I will take your leave. This is author Brendon. Read my book, Edge of Link. It's there on Amazon. And if this video helps you, do leave your thoughts, your feedback, your reviews down in the comments below. And if I've missed out on something, do point that out as well. And should you be interested to look out for a job during these pandemic times, you can view our contact details in the description below. Reach out to us, we'll help you find a job. We operate pan-India region. So I take your leave. All the best to you for your interviews. And yeah, one last thing, do subscribe to our channel and share this with your friends. Bye.